Hi, everyone. I'm so excited. I feel like I say that every single time, but these stories bring me so much joy. And I know that this story is going to help so many people. And I can't wait to hear how it helps you get unstuck in the comments today. I wanted to say a quick hello to those of you who are tuning in right now. There's more and more people joining as I speak, but just want to say a quick hello to Susan Charette, Beyond Sigma Male and Female. Hello, Julia Delalba. I hope I'm saying that right. Roger. Let's see. Timothy McGee from Calgary, Canada. Hello, my fellow Canadian. Sasha Gabriel, reviews and how-tos for you, Saskatchewan, Canada. Hello, hello. Ian Worrell, the gray-haired writer. I love it, from Nova Scotia. I love Nova Scotia. So beautiful. Nico, hello, hello. Margaret Borisma, welcome also from Nova Scotia, but now in Toronto. Alvin Cedric from France. So nice to have you here, Cedric. 10th chapter consulting from Washington, D.C. Giorgio, hello, my friend. Sarah, the Mama Collins, Vancouver Island, hello to my neighbor. Lisa, hello, excited to hear this story. Jolanta, good evening from Dubai. Wow. Dave from Kentucky, Live Good with Crystal from Nova Scotia. So many people from Nova Scotia. Roger from Cape Town, South Africa. Lisa from Oregon. I love it. Hello, and please tell me where you're tuning in from. And I'm so excited to dig into today's story. If we haven't met before, my name is Sunny Leonard-Uzzi, and I'm the founder of a program called the Authority Accelerator. And we help people take their expertise, their skill set, and package it into a highly scalable, highly impactful, and highly transformational online program. And we're going to be sharing one of our client success stories today, just like we do regularly on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, this is like an inspiration station. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you like this video so that we can reach more people with this incredible story. Hello to Julia from Spain, Camille from Winnipeg, Wilman from Vancouver. Oh, hi, Jamie. That's my dog's old dog walker. That's incredible. Hello. 383 Design Studio, New Union, New Jersey. Joshua, musician from Baltimore, Maryland. Quiet Disruptor from Minnesota, Louisiana, Laguna Beach, Pennsylvania, Canada. We love to see it. All right, as more and more folks tune in, I'm just going to give you a little intro to this incredible story that we're going to be sharing today, and then we'll be bringing on our very special guest. So I want to paint a little picture for you. Our guest is truly crazy talented, and I know many of you here tuning in may actually know of our guest and probably has seen his work. Super, super talented, but he was working himself into the ground and barely scraping by despite having phenomenal talent and work out in the world. So I want you to listen to this as one little example. He spent 9 months, okay, producing a 2-hour Netflix-style movie by himself, breaking down how he shot a feature-length film, shot for shot. This project has been shown in film schools all around the world. He shared it on his YouTube channel, where, by the way, he has 457,000 subscribers. Okay, he's got a big subscriber base. In-depth explanations, graphics. The project took 9 months, like I said. It's been shown all over the world. All said and done, how much do you think he got compensated for that project? A 9-month project. He had 3 sponsors, and he was paid $2,400 total. I need that to sink in for a second. 9 months of work and $2,400 between 3 different sponsors. This is the very, very, very unfortunate reality of the creator economy. There are obviously people who kill it and crush it in this space, but it is not an easy game, and it requires so much work to be compensated fairly. So our special guest tried to monetize in so many different angles with his channel. Before joining our Authority Accelerator program, he was reviewing gear. He had a sponsorship model. He had Patreon. He was selling courses. But this all led to overworking because he couldn't hire a team and scale operations because he wasn't making enough in revenue. Who else can relate to that story? If you can relate to this story, I want you to say, I relate in the chat. So put I relate in the comments. After, it gets good, okay? It gets positive. After enrolling in our program, the Authority Accelerator, he saw a clear path to creating a highly profitable and impactful evergreen business finally seeing a way to monetize this expertise and provide value for others in a way that actually makes sense. So today I'm talking to Darious Britt about how he went from freelance filmmaker to generating $22,000 selling his online course using our methodology. If you are excited, put excited in the chat. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'm going to go ahead and bring Darious on in just a second. If you are sitting there going, man, I relate to this, which a lot of you do, I want to encourage you. There is a link to apply to work with us. All you got to do is fill it out. There's no pressure or anything. Just fill it out with your information, and we will be able to chat with you and guide you in the best direction. Also, Steve from my team is here. He is tuning in. And if you have any questions, just put the word apply in the chat, and he will go ahead and get in touch with you and support you with best next steps and how you can make this a reality. So let me drop that link and let's get going. Hello, Darious. How are you?
Hello. What it do?
I'm so excited to have you here. I know we were chatting quite a bit off camera. I could have talked to you for about 8 hours because I just feel like I understand your story on such a deep level, and I've seen your story in so many people that we've worked with, and I know so many people here watching are going to be like, oh my gosh, that's me. I mean, you probably already saw so many people were writing, I relate to this in such a big way. So before we get into the nitty gritty, which we are going to get into a lot of detail, we are going to talk about a couple key things. So I want to talk about this first. We're going to dig into why AdSense doesn't make sense. So Darious was on YouTube for 10 years, and when he stopped making videos, he found a path to full-time income. How action creates clarity and fast tracks making a great online program, and from creator to entrepreneur and using YouTube to create a sustainable business. We're going to get into those 3 key points in just a second. But before we do, let's just talk about your path to entrepreneurship. Tell me a little background. Tell us a little background.
Okay. Well, very difficult. I'll try to do the abridged version. So I went to film school, learned all the filmmaking things, got into YouTube to learn how to market myself. I made a feature, spent 40 grand on it. I had a producer as well. Spent 7 years making this feature, learned a lot of hard knocks and lessons about art versus commerce. Long story short, I ended up releasing that feature myself on my platform. And by then I had grown YouTube to quite a sizable number. There's sort of 2 brains for this, and I think it sums it up. I think for a long time, I treated YouTube and filmmaking like, if you get amazing at the art and the craft of it, the business stuff will take care of itself. And over years and years, you slowly begin to learn that is not true. Mm-hmm. And you need to take responsibility for the business side of things because it will not take care of itself. And that's just kind of the way it is. It is what it is. So the first 7 years, I just focused on the craft, and then the business opportunities that would come. I didn't think they were like the best, but it's like, that's fine. Just get better. Just get better at your craft and they will get better. And then the reality is you reach a certain point, especially in trades like mine, where it is so top heavy and expensive and logistics heavy that there's only so much you can only get, but so good until you realize it's just completely not sustainable. Like every time you go to bat, you have to spend so much time and money. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, if you're not getting knocks out of the park, your work-life balance just goes into the toilet. And so does just everything about your life. And it's, yes, well, that is the abridged version. Yes.
I mean,
so, I'm trying to keep it organized, but like.
No need. We like messy. Yeah. We like messy because that's the messy truth of it. And I think that's what people can see themselves in, right? Like you just said there, it affects every part of your life. I'm curious for you. I know you actually got sick because I was watching a lot of your YouTube content, and I know that you've gone through burnout probably many times. Can you talk a little bit about that sort of constant hamster wheel of like, if I just do a better job, then I'll see the income come in, which didn't really come to fruition. Can you talk about how that hamster wheel just really led you to a negative place and how it impacted your whole life?
Okay. Well, 3 things, because it's sort of a tiered approach.
Yeah.
I studied the crap out of YouTube. I know it really well. The plan was to get so good that you get massive views. Well, over time, I began to realize it's just not possible in my niche. If it were possible, maybe it would be a different story, maybe not, but it's just not possible in my niche. There's a ceiling. It's like if you make videos about basket weaving, there's only so many people who are going to be interested in watching basket weaving. And that's just an extreme example. So that was one, but it took me a number of years before I realized that, because there's so many outliers on YouTube that you're like, just get really good and you can be an outlier. So it took a number of years before, I want to say 3 years ago is when it clicked. And it's like, okay, this is not me. This is not how hard I am trying, because I've closed the skill gap between what I can imagine and what I can do. I closed that over years of work. Now that I'm here, the sky still hasn't opened up. So this is not me anymore. These are other factors. So that was one. But by that point, I had already worked myself to the bone so many times that feelings of resentment just started coming up, because you look to your left, you look to your right, you see these small outlier cases here and there where the types of videos and content they make is so much stripped down and simpler. And they have a business model that sort of works because of what they like to do, which is something simple like reviewing gear. And you see these things and you're like, I am working 10 times harder to try to push the form, and you feel like you're being punished almost. And so those feelings of resentment just build. And I can't tell you how many events I've missed with family. I mean, my father only lives an hour and a half drive away. There's sometimes I only saw him once a year, and he only lives an hour and a half drive away. Just very lonely. I can count on two hands how many days I've taken off in any given year. And even if I'm off, the programming is always running of like, what I got to do next, what I got to do next, what I got to do next. If you're working with sponsors, you got to do email exchanges with them on top of the hours that you're spending making the video, on top of trying to stay abreast with YouTube, on top of trying to do the financials and QuickBooks and educating yourself on all these things. So it's just this constant pull on your psyche that you can't unplug from. And, you know, when I try to explain this to people who don't understand, they look at me crazy. They're like, just take a day off, just unplug. And it's like, you don't understand. There's so many things I have to do that I feel so damn guilty if I unplug, because I feel like something's dropping and I'm going to regret the time that I took off. And then at the end of the day, one day you wake up and you're like, you know, I've made a huge impact. I've gotten massive amounts of views. My bank account doesn't say it. And when I want to take off, I want to be able to do whatever and not have to feel like I have to count how much money I have, or if my car breaks down, I want to be able to, like, I'm just going to buy a new car. Like, given the amount of value I've put out,
yes,
it should be equal, and it wasn't. And then that's where the resentment starts coming in, and it just bleeds into everything. And you're grumpy around your family, you're grumpy around everyone, and you're just like, nobody understands. And it's very not good. Very not.
That's the best way to put it. It is very not good. And it does. It kills your soul. The resentment is so real, which I don't think a lot of people ever really want to admit to, because if you enjoy doing something and you have a passion for doing something, you're like, well, I'm so lucky to be able to do this work despite not being compensated fairly for that work, and it affecting you negatively on every aspect of your life. I have to ask you, I mean, that story about your dad and just the reality of that is so impactful. And there's so many people who are like, whew, are you speaking for me? Because this relates in a big way. I guess my question is, like, what was your tipping point? When were you like, nope, enough's enough. Can't do it anymore. I got to figure out a different way to do this.
I got tired of the hamster wheel. And I think too, I got tired of the hamster wheel because, keep in mind, I was doing YouTube, but I was also doing other things too, like side projects, side gigs. So I was essentially working like a full-time job and like a part-time job for years. And I think the tipping point for me was, one of the tipping points was, I had closed that skill gap, like I was saying, just to realize I still feel like I'm at square one. And I I'm tired of working myself to the bone. I'm just tired of it. And I can't outsource. One, I can't outsource because I didn't have the funding to be able to scale operations. And two, for what I do, it's so technical, it's so bloody technical. It'd be really expensive to get someone who's even close to qualified to do what I can do because they want to be paid. But it took me years to get good enough to do it. So of course someone else. So it's like you combine those things together and not being able to take time off, seeing other people have business models that actually work, or they seem to work on the outside anyways. Like, long story there, where you do enough digging and trying and you realize a lot of business models are just complete hot air.
Yes.
You try things out, like doing courses. I tried the course thing and I had a launch. I did my first launch and I did, the system where you're upselling. So I basically kind of launched 4 courses at the same time, and it made sense on paper and it was great, but it took me months to shoot everything to make the course and then to make all the courses. And then you do the whole launch process where you tell everybody and then you push them all there. But then after the launch is over, you lose the urgency. So then it's like drip feeding in. And then you're like, oh, that's great. Well, now I'm back at square one. So would I disappear for another 3 months to shoot another catalog of videos to make another course? It just doesn't make sense. And especially, again, with models like, with industries like mine where aesthetics are very important.
Mm-hmm.
I can't come out and just throw PNG files and clip art at people. And I have to have presentation is very much a part of my industry. So what comes with that is a lot of time. It takes time to produce videos to compete at that quality. So there's a lot of overhead, basically. So every time I'm asked to step away to do something, I have to factor in the time. If I'm teaching something, I need examples, which means I have to film things and light things and sound. And there's all these things I got to do. So to do all of that for a course that's like $100, $200.
I can't.
Just miss me with it. You know what I mean?
Miss me. Yes. Stop talking about it. I hate that. Yeah. I mean, it's broken. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked for a long time. Please stop selling it. Please stop marketing it because nobody wants to buy it anymore. And if they buy it,
not going to work. You're not even going to get people who are committed to use it. It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. Yeah. Yeah. So that was another tipping point. Like, that was my foray into taking responsibility back of the business and saying, you know what, I'm done with this. Artist mind was dominating. Yeah, you take a back seat for a little while. I'm gonna need you to chill. I'm gonna grow into this guy, and then we're gonna just have to collaborate and make it make sense. And then as I grew more into the business side of things, and I applied the same things, like learn as much as you can and all that, it started looking like the Wild Wild West all over again. Because as an artist, you think about business, and people have this conception that if you have massive numbers on YouTube, massive views, well, you could just sell anything. Totally not true. One, there has to be a crap ton of alignment. And two, yes, you could sell anything, but there's the question of what is it worth your time to sell and offer value for? That's the real question.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the things that bit me in the butt when I was going down this journey, is that there's a number of things I could do. However, the value that I have to offer is very procedural. I like to show people how to level up and achieve their dreams in film. I don't like to show people, here's a whole bunch of gear, go buy it. That doesn't light me up. I might as well work at McDonald's. Not that that's bad, but it doesn't light me up. So those things, I guess what made it incredibly difficult for me is that because the value I have to offer is so procedural, like if you go to my channel, I'll show you how I make films and I'll walk you through shot by shot. That's what I'm good at. That's my genius zone. And that's what people want from me. But that was really hard to monetize. It was incredibly hard to monetize. It's like, how do you monetize that without going to a full-blown film school where you have all the support and a step-by-step on how to do that thing? That's why people go to film school for that. So selling piecemeal courses a la carte doesn't work for that kind of model, because you need something that's way more procedural. And then two, it takes so much bloody time to do it. what prices are you going to charge for that? And like, again, miss me with a $100, $200, $300 course. It's like, do you know how much time it takes to put this together for you to?
You've spent 10 years, more than that, really perfecting your craft. And I think I want to get into these like 3 tactics, because I think what comes up for me as you're talking is like, unfortunately, this is reality for so many people. And there is so much bad information out there about how to do this the right, terrible information out there about how to do this the right way, and how to actually turn it into a legit, sustainable business that can last a long time. And it's why we do what we do. Like, what makes me more angry? You can ask my team this. I go off on tangents on this sometimes. What makes me more angry than anything is like, I said this at the beginning, and I mean it from my soul. I was watching your content and I'm like, this guy is so freaking good. Like, you are so talented. And there are so many people here watching this where I'm like, you are an expert at what you do, and you are not being compensated fairly at all. And you are trading time for money, burning yourself out, doing all these things. And I was one of those people too. Like, I burnt out, ended up in the hospital at 29 with all the symptoms of stroke because I was on the constant hamster wheel, until I changed my whole business model. And that's why I teach other people, because I'm like, I feel like I'm in a corner, like, there's a better way. Like, there's a better way to do this. And it's legit. And we've been doing it for a long time. And you are just the most recent example of like why this works so well. So let's dig into the tactics. Actually, first, before I do that, tell us what your program actually teaches people. So where did you narrow your focus in terms of your program?
The abridged version, I get people shooting. That's what I do. I take filmmakers who are not shooting, and I get them creating a portfolio of lean, mean, shootable projects to get nasty good.
I love it. I was gonna read your transformation statement, but I was like, I cannot say nasty good. Like, it just doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth.
I tried to do the confidence thing so you can get more confident, and I was like, it doesn't fit my brand. Like, people know, like, I'm aggressive with it. Like, just get crazy good, just like battery acid, just explosive, levitate above a building, like just amazingly good for people who are passionate, who really want to level up. So that's what my program. I get people who don't know how to get to shooting. I get them shooting. Yeah,
writers, directors, people who are in this space, and
directors.
You get them, creating nasty good films. All right, let's dig into the tactics. So first thing is, AdSense doesn't make sense. You've been on YouTube for 10 years, and when you stopped making videos, you haven't made a video in 9 months, you found your path to full-time income. So let's talk about YouTube itself. Let's talk about those 10 years. And let's talk about why it was such a struggle to figure out how to monetize it, despite trying a lot of different things.
Well, I am a somewhat of a unique case. However, there are plenty of others who are probably in the same situation. What took so long is because everything I do is top heavy, shooting films and all that's top heavy. So I feel like the lessons that I needed to learn also took very long to learn. Because again, you make something for 9 months and turn it around. Well, if you're making things really, really fast, you probably could bump up on some of these other lessons a lot sooner. So your question was, can you repeat?
Yeah, of course. No, that's okay. There's so much to cover, and I'm so passionate about what you're saying too that I'm like so drawn in. But my question was, you were on YouTube for 10 years. Well, you've been on YouTube for 10 years. You stopped making videos 9 months ago, and now you're at this place where you've actually found a way to full-time income. And I want to talk about what that 10 years looked like. You tried so many different monetization models. Why was it such a struggle to figure out how to monetize what you did, despite having like a big audience as well?
Okay, so we'll break this up into parts. First, it took so long because I had the wrong mindset. I thought I had a business mindset and learning how YouTube works and all that, but I was treating it like an artist mindset. Just get really good at what you do. All the business opportunities will take care of themselves. So that ate up the first 7 years until I slowly learned that ain't it, right? And then the next part of this story are the things that I tried once I started getting more into a healthier mindset, which is taking ownership of business. So part 2 to this is I tried doing Patreon, and I still use it. I still run it. I still have ideas for it, but the subscription-based model for like $7 a month there was just some hard lessons there. One, you're not going to, well, first off, let's start with, there's a ton of corpses in Patreon land in subscription. Let's just start there first off. Like if you can get one that is successful, you're already a unicorn. I did a lot of research and studying to give myself the best odds, and it worked. However, I think that the quality of person you get with a model like that, and where the barrier to commitment is so low, like $7 a month, $10 a month, you get a lot of just dabblers, people who are just like, oh, I kind of want to do this, I kind of don't. You're not changing anybody's life for $7 a month. So you kind of go back to square one where, yeah, okay, it kind of worked and it's bringing in residuals. I mean, it's bringing in revenue, but it's not enough to move the needle. And we're back to the volume game kind of. It's like, well, in order for this to work, I would need like at least 1,000 patrons a month to work. But how do you get that when what you're offering is not something that is going to rattle someone to the core and make them remember, like, you know, people who pay attention type thing? If the bar is so low, you're not really going to cultivate that. So then you start looking down the timeline, right? It's like, okay, well, if I put this much work into it and try these things out, maybe I can grow it. Okay, maybe you can, but how many examples do you see where people have done that? Oh, not many? Maybe you want to second guess a little bit, and then you equate how much time you're investing into it versus the value that you're able to offer versus what you're getting. There's just a lot of question marks as to how viable it actually is. So tried that. You know, kind of cool, but we'll put that to the side. Doing the courses model thing again. Well, the first course I did, I fell into the trap of, you want to make the encyclopedia of everything type course. So I spent 6 months making this course, making it professional, polished, and all that. Didn't understand who my ideal client was and what they needed. Because again, I don't know what I'm doing, right? I do YouTube. I got this down. I can just teach this stuff in a course format. No, they're kind of two different things. It's a whole different skill set, right? So I made my mistakes there and found, okay, this is how you do a course. But then when I learned enough lessons to really get to bat, then it was like, okay, wait, we go back to that launch model thing we talked about, where it's like, okay, you invest all this energy to launch something out there just to lose the urgency afterwards. And because the price point is not high enough, you get a lot of dabblers where people are like, oh, I kind of want to try this. And, oh, I like this person. They're trustworthy. They make great content. I'll try this. They don't go all the way through. They get 3%, 10% of the way through. And, oh, I'll come back to this later. They never come back. How do you get testimonials for somebody who never went all the way through? And then as you're selling courses and things, the average completion rate, I think, for courses was like, I think it was like 10%, somewhere around there. Okay, well, if you have a wall of courses that you're selling, 10% completion rate, that's if they complete it. That's not to mention the ones that actually got a transformation or something. Well, what happens when you're continuing to push courses out there, but you have no testimonials, you have no like pre-validation from other people? It just starts to become a bit of a mystery for someone thinking of buying your stuff, right? They're like, hey, yeah, you're selling all this stuff, but like, who's gone through this? Like, you've been selling this for how many years? And then, of course, you have to promote all of these offerings too. So that gets weird, you know, and I'm already when I make videos, I put a lot of work into it. So I can't promote all of these course offerings when I'm only making a video maybe once every couple of weeks, sometimes once a month, but I make it really good when I do it. Well, how do I advertise all these offerings and do them justice when I can't show up to bat as often as I would need to? Again, if I had a content model where I could turn 2 videos a week, then maybe that would be possible. But even still, that gets muddy for them too, because it's complexity. What is that phrase? Complexity is the enemy of execution.
Yes.
Too freaking complicated.
Yeah.
Too complicated. The writing is infinitely on the wall. Like if you look hard enough, action brings clarity, right? You take enough action, the clarity comes, and you quickly realize this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me. It doesn't make a lot of sense for the customer either. Yeah. Because if you have all these offerings, it creates confusion. What are you actually good at? Because you're just carpet bombing me with all these offers. I don't see any testimonials or anything coming out the other end. I just got to trust that it's you. It's just confusion.
It's confusion. And I think what's so important about what you just said is like, you said like it's two different things. Like having a YouTube channel and being able to share your expertise on a YouTube channel is a very different thing from creating a program. And what is so different is that you're used to value, 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 value. Like you've been giving value for 10 years, information, information, information. A good online program, and you really only need one, which is what we teach people, like one core offer. That's it. And you can scale. We've had our clients scale to multiple seven figures, which is one offer. We have just one offer because that one offer requires you to know your ideal client inside out. It requires you to get results and transformations. It requires marketing. And if you're trying to market a bunch of different courses, what are you supposed to say in your messaging? You're going to be saying 50 different things to 50 different people, and then nobody knows what you're doing. So you said something really important. You said you're not changing anyone's life for $7. And I think that's such an important point because it's really hard for people to wrap their head around how to monetize their expertise. But I think listening to this story is so important because you have been doing this for 10 years. Your expertise, like you have mastered your craft, and yet you weren't able to make full-time income from it because you were providing this information. What people need from you and what people want from anybody who has an expertise is give me the expert path to get from my current state to where I want to be as efficiently as possible. Please don't hand me over a bunch of information. I don't need that. I've been on YouTube sifting through content. I want a fast, efficient, effective path from zero to hero, and creating a transformative course as opposed to creating a program that's just giving them more information. When I say that, does that like resonate with your own story?
Yes. Because it's a very different mindset altogether. It's one of those, if you've never, I can't think of it like a good metaphor. I like to think in metaphors, but it's one of those, like trying to describe an elephant to someone who's never seen an elephant is a lot like what it feels like. Like when you come from the content creation YouTube side of things, where it's like Gatling gun information. That was the strategy, the model. I'm going to give you so much information and make it so pretty and so engrossing and get you so inspired that you can't resist, right? But the problem, well, not really a problem. It's just a different form, right? So with that particular form of service, it doesn't inspire action. It inspires passivity. And when you're talking about providing a transformation for someone, it's the opposite. And if you don't know how to do that, it's a bit of a head shift as to like what exactly that means, or at least maybe I speak for myself. For me, it was a bit of a head shift. It's like, what does this really mean? Like, because I want to understand stuff. That's what gives me the confidence to do it, is if I actually understand it on a carnal level as much as I can. And transformation is about getting people to action at the end of the day. And I liken it more towards hiring someone for a job. It's like, okay, if I'm going to hire an editor to edit for me, they want to know how to achieve a certain result. The result they were hired for. That's what they want to know. And what they need from me is a step-by-step process to do that specific job. So if you go to an editor and you say, hey, you're editing for me, so here's your options for editing. You can edit like a Peter McKinnon video. Or, hey, you could do this Casey Neistat thing. Or if you're really interested, you can do this other thing. And here's all these editing tricks and all these shortcuts and all these tips. Here's all these options. And he's going to look at you crazy and be like, what do you want me to do? Like, you hired me to edit for you. Tell me the result I need. What's the goal line? Show me the steps to do that thing, and I will do that. When you give me options, I'm paralyzed because I don't know what you want. And so I'm just going to sit and be like, you gave me all these options, but I literally don't know what to do. So they're paralyzed. And offering transformations is that exact thing. Just what it is that exact dynamic. Someone wants a result, and you are providing a service to get them there.
Yes.
If you come at them with a whole bunch of options and like, oh, you could do this, or you could do this, or you could do this. Here's 10 tips you should know. Here's this, here's that, here's this. They're going to feel like that editor that's been hired for that job. Like, I don't know what to do. Like,
yes. It's
I
like
don't know what to do.
I always use the mountain metaphor. I'm like, if you're gonna go climb up a mountain, do you want a map to get to the top in the most efficient way? Or would you like to just figure it out on your own and go off course for another 8 hours and get exhausted on trying to find your way to the top? You're going to want the map to get to the top as efficiently as possible. You're not going to want to spend all this time trying to figure it out and go on these different paths to get there. That's why your job as a course creator, it's hard. Your job as a course creator is hard because you're actually needing to lessen the amount of information you're providing so that you can provide so much efficiency for that person who's coming in, because you are the person who has mastered this. So they're coming to you to be like, please just give me the path. Please just give me the map. Give me the map to get there as quickly as I can, because I have tried doing this on my own. I've tried looking on YouTube for free content. Everybody wants the map, and the course provides the map. And that's so important for people to understand. People do not pay for information. They can get that for free on the internet. They can waste a ton of time doing that. They pay for transformation. So let's talk about, you talked about this in a little bit ago. You talked about needing to know your ideal client. And this is something we harp on a lot. And I'm sure people here have heard me say this before. It is the unsexy part of building a thriving and sustainable online course business. If you don't know your ideal client inside and out, you can't create a great program. Period. End of story. If you don't know who you're serving and what they need, you're screwed. Done. So, how action creates clarity and fast tracks making a great online program. I want to talk about that process of really listening and understanding your ideal client. Before I do, I just want to say there's so many people here who are so like invested in this story and are getting so much out of it. If you're here getting a ton out of this, I did want to just say, if you write apply in the comments right now, Steve from my team is here and he'll be able to connect with you and just understand better of where you're at and how we can best help you. So I'm just going to drop that into the comment section in a second. But while I do that, I'd love to hear from you, Darious. Like, talk me through the process of understanding your ideal client and what that was like for you.
With regards to how I followed the process within the program of learning how that works. And well, a good system shortens the road to the goal. With business, he who knows the customer best wins. Well, the process of really speaking with ICAs and getting to know how to serve, I think not only was instrumental, it was insanity now not to do that. Complete insanity, because there's so much clarity that comes with talking with someone and just asking, hey, what's going on? Where are the hangups? Where are the troubles? And genuinely listening to what comes up and the emotions behind it and the struggles that they're having. The clarity that comes with that is immeasurable, because you get locked in the expert's mind. And the problem with the expert's mind is that you've known what you know for so long that you don't find it valuable anymore. You take what you know for granted, and it affects how you perceive what others would find valuable. So because you've known it, you're like, well, I should show this and this and this. Like, nah, I mean, none of this is really gonna be valuable to them. But actually, a lot of it is, and a fraction of what you're already thinking is. However, you're clouded upstairs because you can't see past your own lens of taking your own knowledge for granted. You've normalized what you know to such an extent that you no longer value it. And you think you do, you know stuff, but you've kind of devalued your own information and your own skill set because you've normalized it. So when you talk to your ICAs and you open up that dialogue, you begin to sort of unfog the glass to really see, oh, wait, there's some things that I do in my sleep that would be immensely valuable. Oh, here's some things that are like such an easy lift that I would have never in a million years thought of, that they would actually find immensely valuable. Oh, and there's this other thing that I thought would be really valuable, but after talking to people, I realized, ooh, that would just lead to overwhelm. Like, there's so much confidence and clarity and understanding how to serve them that comes when you speak to them, that I almost feel like it one, it's insanity, and two, there would be so much second guessing and mind effery trying to build a program without that, because then you just have the echo chamber of your mind where you're like, well, maybe they like this, maybe they don't. It would just
It's
cause
horrible.
an
It's horrible.
unnecessary amount of second guessing.
Yes.
Unnecessary. So
Yeah. I
the
made that mistake.
short answer, invaluable, completely invaluable.
Yeah, I mean, it for me, it really is like, it's almost like a cheat code. And like people look at that process and they're like, oh man, this is going to take some time to do this and dig in. But thank me when you have a business still in 6 months. Like the people who don't take the time to figure out who their ideal client is and really be able to describe them in detail before they actually start selling are the ones that have a business for maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, and then they flop. And we've seen that many a time. I've been in this industry for over a decade now. We've had this program alone for 5 years and thousands of people go through it. Anybody who tries to skip that process, you're not going to do very well. So that's why we lay it out like step by step in the beginning of like, you got to get down to the nitty gritty of internal and external and then real human being validation. So Sabran, you're asking a question about how to get out of that trap. Would love to see your internal validation worksheet inside the program. Nicole and I will be waiting for that, and Elizabeth. And
it changes your program too.
Yes, it does.
Because you're not only learning, but my program would have been so different without, because what I think they need is different than it. It completely changed the order of how I do things, what was included.
That's such a big thing.
Dialogue.
That's such a big thing. I recently had somebody share with us, like, I had this whole roadmap of how I was going to lay out my curriculum before I spoke to anybody or did any research. And she's like, once I started listening to my ideal client and doing these interviews and this research, the entire order of the curriculum switched. She's like, and if I had done it in the way that I thought was good, people would have hated it and nobody would have gotten anything from it. So it seems so simple, but simple equals scalability. Just listen to the people that need you the most, because they're going to lay it out for you and exactly how they want to learn, what they need to know, and how to achieve that transformation in the most effective and efficient way. Okay. From creator to entrepreneur, we talked about this a little bit, but I want to really hone in on this because I think it's such an important topic and something that I wish more people understood. There's such a big difference in being a creator versus being a business owner and entrepreneur, and how you can use, being the keyword, use YouTube to create a sustainable business. So you're at this place now where you've proven your offer. So you've launched your program with what we call the POP, which is your profitable offer prototype. You're delivering it in a live setting to test it out. So you're not spending hours upon hours, like creating this pre-recorded content, and you're just getting it into the world. And you generated $22,000 with your initial sort of launch of that program. And then you're going to turn it evergreen. So tell me about that mindset shift. You talked about it a little bit before, but the mindset shift from being a creator and just giving and making content for free to business owner, and how you're using YouTube to your advantage.
Well, a little context before. Well, we'll break it up into A and B. First, because I've been in YouTube so long, I've seen a lot of careers do this. For one, they're off and running for 4 years, and then if they don't reinvent themselves, they fall off. And so that in itself is a hamster wheel. And also, I've had the experience of touching that lightning bolt when you make something that gets millions of views, and it's like, oh, that's awesome, that's great, whoa, it's like literally it feels like you're touching a lightning bolt. But then everything gets normalized, and over time, those lightning bolts, when you touch them, become less and less powerful. Yeah. Because there's some other boxes in your life that you need checked. So all of that is to say, my relationship with YouTube now is, I don't care about upload times and frequencies. There used to be a time where it's like, if you upload more and the algorithm, don't care. I'm only showing up to YouTube when I have something to sell. I'm only showing up when I am promoting my offering, my course, my program, or if I'm sharing like a behind the scenes film that I shot, which ties into my program. Outside of that, I don't really need to be on there. It's just, you're just overworking for nothing.
Can I
And
just add something? Because I feel like this is such a good way to put it. If I do say so myself, I feel like saying in the way of like, YouTube can use you, of course, because YouTube itself is a business and YouTube needs views and YouTube makes its money off of ad revenue. So they want you posting. They want you being consistent. They want you studying the upload times. The last time I looked at that kind of information, it's been a long time because I don't care. I just want to reach the right people. And I can do it in whatever way I want to reach the right people who are actually going to want to work with us and like get the transformation. That's not going to be a huge audience, but that's okay. It's accuracy over a massive audience. So YouTube can either use you or you can use YouTube, which is what you're doing now. So I just wanted to harp on that.
No. I mean, you've articulated it perfectly. It's like if YouTube itself, from a creator standpoint, doing YouTube is not a business. It's not, because AdSense, sponsorships, whatever a sponsor is going to pay you pales in comparison to what you can do for yourself. So we'll start there. Even channels that have massive sponsorships, it's like, well, if they, disregarding like Mr. Beast or something, but like, if they had a business for themselves, they can make 10x more. So at the end of the day, you're never really going to get paid what you're worth just relying on AdSense and sponsorships. So that said, my lens on it now is it's self-care first. It's no longer let me take care of the world and compete at the highest tier. And for me, it's more self-care first. Like I've given a lot of value. I've already proven myself. Now it's like I'm at that point in my life. I need that balance. It needs to make sense for me too. So upload frequencies and all that, I could care less. Like peeps are like, you've been off for 9 months. Are you worried about being penalized by algorithms? I don't care. I would rather have a channel that gets an average of, I don't know, maybe 10K, 15K views, but have a healthy business and be genuinely impacting people's lives. Like people join your program and their lives are changed. I would rather have that than a channel where, I don't know, you're getting 500 to 1,000 views per video, but you're on a hamster wheel, you're working yourself to death, and you're not genuinely impacting people's lives. You're just sort of like, a show, and when you stop dancing, the people go away, And then after you run yourself dry, right, years and years and years go by, and then you realize there's nothing else behind that brand. I would rather have the more simple model of that where there's self-care. And if it should turn into something with massive views, great. But I've already been there, done that. And it's just a bag of hot air if you got nothing else behind it.
Yes. So. And I think what I'm hearing you say, and I've experienced this for myself as well, after I did go through my burnout, it's like really what you are doing is you are taking back control. You are in control of how you build your business. Because no longer are you at the mercy of the algorithm and hoping that it favors your content. You're like, I know exactly who I'm trying to reach. I know exactly who I want my content to be shown to. So I'm going to make hyper relevant content for that person. And that's all within my control. And that works every single time. It may not be massive views. Sometimes it is. It may not be massive views. But you don't control the views. You control the intent and the relevancy of your content for reaching the person that you can have the deepest impact on. And you control the back end of it where you actually have something to provide to them to create real transformation for them. You're taking back the control as opposed to really YouTube using you. And that's not to say YouTube is bad. I freaking love YouTube. Dear YouTube gods, don't hate me. But like, I love YouTube. And YouTube has been such a key part of our business. But YouTube is a vehicle for the business. YouTube is not the business. And playing the game of when it is the business, I've been there, done that, and it was awful. It's awful. And it takes a toll on you as a person because you go, oh, my video performed badly. I'm a bad person, or I suck, or I'm bad at this, which, as I've said to you, like, you're so freaking talented. You could make a video recording of the phone book and make it look cool. And so it has nothing to do with your skill level or your talent level. It has everything to do with not playing to them, but controlling the game for yourself, which I feel like you've really been able to do.
Well, it's literally, I liken YouTube like playing with fire. You're literally playing with fire. You can touch the world and do amazing things. However, if you don't have the right mindset and you don't respect it and understand how to make it work for you, you can get burned, and you can
Yes.
get burned very badly.
Yes.
If you have the right mindset, then you're a fire dancer, right? Like you can make it work for you, but both things are possible. And so when you play with fire, you got to be careful.
Yeah, and I think what I think is really interesting too is like there has sort of been this revolution, I would say, in the last 4 years, where we've seen some of the biggest creators admit to being burnt out, admit
Ooh,
to
yeah.
barely scraping by, admit to being on the hamster wheel. But you look from the outside and you're like, look how many views, they're getting millions of views and have millions of subscribers. As I've said, like this is not new to me. I've been in this industry for a very long time. I have seen the behind the scenes of a lot of people that from the outside look incredible. From the inside, they are crumbling because they're basing everything they do on external validation and things out of their control. So I hope that's what we leave you with today is like you can be in control of your future and of your financial future and of your business. And at the same time, make such a deep impact on the people who need you the most. That is the most fulfilling thing. Like when you can actually serve at the highest level and provide such a deep transformation to people, that's what's going to keep you going. That's what creates longevity. That's what leads to not burning out. Because you're like, I'm doing what I can to make a big difference on other people. That's always going to be fulfilling. Doing it to get views and to get notoriety and to be seen as, the best of the best, that's a fickle game. That's like fame. It's like 15 minutes of fame.
Can I add
Yeah,
something
please,
to?
please, please, please. Yeah.
I think one of the, well, if not the biggest, first off, there's so many things with the Authority Accelerator. There's too many things to list out. Like if you were to ask me, what did you learn? There's too many things. So I'm just going to put that aside for now. Literally too many things. But the biggest thing for me that's been pivotal is it just showed me a way to simplify. It showed me a way to show up for others that is simple.
Mm.
Every other way I've been showing up to give service, whether it's inspire, educate, whatever, every other method that I have used to show up has been so bloody complicated. Whether I'm trying to monetize it or not, it's just complicated, right? It takes all this time, all this energy, money, all of the things. And this system just gave me a way to show up and offer or provide, share value. Like, I guess it gave me a way to help others in the best way that I know how, like my genius zone. It gave me a way to help others in the most simple way possible. Because you're talking to someone who's always time broke. Like even this morning, I'm spending 2 hours in After Effects. Like to do all that impressive stuff, you have to practice a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always time broke in terms of pushing the form. So I need things to be simple. They have to be simple, in order for me to continue to grow as an artist so that I can offer more. Well, I'm already sort of breaking my neck on the craft side, but I can't be breaking my neck on like helping people, sending the elevator back down so that other people can rise up and do what I can do and become the future. I can't be breaking my neck there too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's got to be some sort of balance there. And so it gave me a path. It removed a lot of the stupid guessing games so that I can just get to helping people, genuinely helping people who are as crazy as I am, who really want to be nasty good at what they do. And they think about it all the time. Well, it gave me a lane to be able to help them without all the BS.
That's such
Simplicity.
yeah, I mean, we harp on that a lot. So I appreciate you saying that. Like simple is the key and it's systematic, right? Like this isn't something that we are just throwing out there and haven't tested. This process has been tested and iterated for years. And if you're on this channel on YouTube, you will see, I think we have close to 300 case studies and testimonials. And so it's not theory. at this point. It's a systematic approach, and simplicity is what scales. At the end of the day, I think we try and complicate things so much, and it just makes things so messy and so disorganized, and it makes you feel like crap because you feel like you're banging your head against the wall and nothing's working. But the truth is, you just got to really take a step back and have the right approach. Last question, because I've used up so much of your time. There are people here 1000% that are on the fence right now, and they're like, they come to all these case studies and they're like, man, like it seems like this really works. And they're still doubtful, and they're like, I don't know if I should actually take the leap, if I should be a part of this program, if I should actually do this. You were in those shoes, I'm sure, not long ago. So I would ask for you, if you were kind of giving advice to that person who's sitting on the fence right now, what would you say?
Well, I'll have to talk to the artist specifically, because when I binge watched testimonials on yours before I was thinking of joining, the constant question I had in my mind is, yeah, but the artists though, like, yeah, but the artists though. And that was difficult for me to work through. Like, how could I charge a premium for what I'm worth so that I could offer the best service possible? When you're talking to artists who typically are already spending so much to do the thing anyways. Like with filmmakers, you have to buy lenses and cameras and sound. It's very expensive just all the way around. So a block that I had was, would anyone realistically be willing to pay what they need to pay for this system to work? When they know in the back of their mind they have all these other things they have to buy? Are they going to be like, that's a lot, and wait, I mean, I got to get this and this and this, like, I don't know. Not true. Yeah, it's not true. When people genuinely care about something and the value is there, they have no problems paying. They're actually more than happy to pay. Period.
Yeah.
End of story. So if you're an artist and you're thinking right now the service that you want to offer, your genius zone that you want to provide, if you're thinking, yeah, but would anybody pay me for this? Like in the realm of thousands of dollars, like would anybody find that valuable? Like, I just don't know. You're thinking like an artist, and that needs to die. The reality is you need to get experience and do the thing, and then your way of understanding how things work will change, because we think that way for a reason. It's kind of what we've been taught. We're not exposed to other forms of business. Case in point, when I was starting my business journey, I had gotten some consulting and spoke to someone, and they said, yeah, you should do consulting. And I have done consulting for years. But they were like, yeah, you should do consulting, and you could charge like $300 an hour, $400 an hour, $500 an hour. And I looked at them and I was like, okay, let's think about this. Like, they would tell this to me and they would say it with their whole chest. This is what your time is worth. You have to charge what you're worth. Whole chest out. And it was a couple of people I spoke to about this where they're like, you need to charge more. You need to charge like these crazy rates. And then I realized something. At first, I was looking at them like, you guys are out of touch. You're talking to a whole bunch of artists. People don't have money like that. No, that's not actually the issue. That's not the problem at all. The problem is when people get into, well, not the problem. The dynamic is when people get into the entrepreneurial world, you go to things like conferences, you hear how people talk about how money works and all that, and you're exposed to higher prices a lot earlier. So then it's like a no-brainer to you when you start to offer services of yourself, because you've been exposed to that dynamic over and over and over and over again. Artists, they're so used to underselling themselves and selling things for so low, and then all of their peers are all selling things for so low because it's normalized.
Yes.
We haven't been exposed to, hey, you can charge higher prices, and here's how. I haven't been exposed to that. We're not going to those conferences. If anything, you hang out with other artists, they talk about how broke they are and how they don't have money, and they tried selling these things and they're all undercharging. Yeah. So it's a bit of a cold shower when you don't have those experiences as an artist. And that is the danger. And that when you're thinking to yourself right now, would people pay for this? That is the lens you're coming from. You just don't know. You haven't had the experience. You have to step out on faith, and action brings clarity. You just have to take action, and then the clarity will come. And you need to follow a system that shows you how to take that action, so you're not second guessing every bloody thing.
I think to add to that, that was so well said. And also, we have a ton of artists inside of our program, and there's a ton of really great case studies that you can watch on this channel with artists. But I think to add to that, there is an aspect of when you're an artist, you place value on what other people think and how many people are seeing what you do and how much validation you're getting externally for what you do. That's naturally how it kind of works. So it's a different ball game when you go, okay, if you ask the question, will somebody pay for this? Yes, but not everybody. And that's a good thing. You only want the people who are at the place who are actually going to take the action and get results, because that is what's going to fuel your business. Results will sell better than any incredible marketing campaign ever will. You have results for what you do. You can prove that you are great at what you do, and you get people results. That's going to sell things way better. So you don't need all the eyeballs in the world. And that's a hard way to validate your expertise, because it's so fickle. A great way to validate your expertise is how much you can actually impact people, which I know you are doing. One of the questions we keep getting is, can we have a link to your course in the comments? But I don't think there is a link to your course right now, because you're in your beta test, your pop test. So unfortunately not available at the moment, folks, but will be very soon. So where can people go and find out more about you, Darious? Where would you want to send people to?
Well, my YouTube channel, D for Darious, they'll learn a lot about me there. It's probably the best place. Like I said, right now I'm ghost. I don't show up. I don't show up to social media, to be honest with you, unless it works for me. I don't scroll Twitter. The Facebook community with AA, I show up for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just as you do this, and as you do this for a while, you start to just chisel out those healthier boundaries. Mm-hmm. Because all those little swipes and trying to keep up with everything, they eat at your time and eat at your energy, and at the end of the day,
sanity.
And your sanity. And at the end of the day, you could just not.
You could just not. You could just not. And that's great too. Like, I'm with you. I mean, simple. Yeah, I mean, people always ask me, they're like, why are you not on TikTok? Why are you not on this? And I'm like, because I don't want to, and I don't need to.
For what?
So. Why?
Don't need to be everywhere.
Why would I be? Yeah, why would I be? If I have to be everywhere to prove that I'm good at what I do, like, I got a broken business model, but the offer is good, so we don't need to do much marketing to make it work. And that's how everybody's business should be. I'm going to let you go because this has been so valuable. Is there anything you want to say before we go ahead and wrap up?
You all have been amazing. I genuinely could not have been able to do this without going through the program for a number of reasons. The second guessing would have eaten me alive. There were so many very uncomfortable moments where you have to challenge your own mental picadillos and like how you genuinely believe things to be. Like, you have to challenge and put yourself outside of your comfort zone a lot. Like a lot. And having a system that makes it very clear of what you need to do gets you to action, to knock down those walls that are ridiculous and those limiting beliefs that you've adopted. It gets you to knocking those walls down a lot sooner so that you can see real progress. I wouldn't have knocked down anywhere near half the walls without having a structured approach to say, okay, do this. I'm an analytical mind. I like to mind F stuff. I will like get in the weeds and because I want to understand, but at a certain point, you just need to act. Mm-hmm. And this allows you to do less thinking and more just action. Do this. Now do this. Here's why you're doing it. Off you go. We're not going to give you 10, 20 options and shiny spoons. It's just like, here it is. Here's the steps. Just do the steps.
Just do the steps. I know it sounds really simple. You would be shocked. So it really is. It's like step-by-step game plan. Business in a box is what we like to call it.
Very efficient.
Very efficient, right? I practice what I preach. For Darius's YouTube channel, it's D4Darius, but if you just look up Darius Bright, you'll be able to find his channel. Just want to say thanks to everyone for being here. If you are interested in being a part of the Authority Accelerator program, the first step you need to take is to fill out the application as thoroughly as possible so we can really understand your situation and how we can best guide you. And you can do that at sendinglearnedeasy.com/apply. The link is on the screen. It's also in the chat right now. Darius, I just can't say thank you enough. This was just the best. I so appreciate you, and I'm so excited to see where you are 6 months or a year from now. And I hope we can do another recap at some point. But yeah, very excited for you. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. Like, I remember watching these and being like, oh man, that must be amazing. It would be great to be one of those testimonials. And then like, here I am.
Oh, you're here.
Very surreal.
I'm very happy for you, and we'll have to have you back again because people absolutely loved you. So thank you so much, and thanks everyone for tuning in, and I hope to see a few of you on the inside soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.